What's up, what's up, what's up? Engineer Mojo here. Hello, fellow mechanics. Today we're going to show you, or I'm going to show you, how I plan to paint my valve cover. Here's a valve cover I'm going to paint. If you're familiar with the paint stripping video, you've seen this valve cover. I'm going to show you exactly how I plan to prep this valve cover, paint it, and get a good end product, but as cheap as possible, to be honest. Okay, to start the process off, I'm going to take a acetone mixture that I have here, and just to spray, and I'm going to use this to kind of clean off any oils that may be on the valve cover from my fingerprints, from the cleaning, anything like that. So I'm going to give it a good spray down, and I'm just going to take a cloth and wipe it down. This is the way I can get any of those oils off. That way it won't interfere with the adhesion of the primer or the paint. Next, I'm going to take some tape. You can use painter's tape. I'm using Scotch tape to tape any areas where I don't want paint or primer. So this is your threads for your oil cap. Also any kind of vacuum line, hoses. I cover those up because I don't want to paint it. If you do want to paint it and you have to cover it up, I advise you to cover up the threads though. Cover up some of the spark plug holes from getting paint in them because I don't want paint deep down in. I'm just using the standard paper, and I put it in there. You can get more detail and put tape, but it's not really necessary. This works well enough to cover up what I need to cover. As you can see, I used paper towel in the spark plug holes. Basically, I'll just roll up a piece of paper towel and I flour it out to cover up the edges that I don't want paint getting into, or primer. For the valve cover, oil cap hole, I'll cover up the threads with tape. And I use an X-Acto knife or any kind of razor to get as close as possible to the bearing surface. That way I can get paint where I want it and avoid getting paint where I don't want it. Also, you see I cover up the vacuum hose here with tape, and now this valve cover is pretty much ready to start receiving primer. I use a self-etching primer for the valve cover. This is an aluminum valve cover. Aluminum paint doesn't really adhere too well to aluminum, so I advise you to use some sort of primer before you apply paint. This one I picked up from Advanced Autos or AutoZone, one of those two. And basically just read the instructions on the back, follow those, and you really can't go wrong in just applying this stuff. First coat of primer applied. I'm going to apply one more coat of primer. As you can see, it kind of smooths out any kind of small imperfections, and it helps the adhesion of the paint to the aluminum surface. One thing I forgot to mention is make sure if you are painting, you're painting in a well ventilated area, of course, but also make sure it's not too humid outside. Because the more humidity there is in the air, more moisture in the air, the longer it takes for the actual primer or paint to dry. So for this, it's pretty hot outside today, it's pretty dry. It's going to take probably about 15 to 30 minutes between each coat. I'm going to apply. If it was more humid outside, it'd be more like a couple hours between coats. So if you want to make this process short or shorter, apply it on a dry day in the paint. That way you don't have to wait as long. Second coat of primer has been applied. It's looking pretty good so far. Pretty even coat. Now I'm ready to apply the actual paint. The paint I'm using is Wrinkle Finish high heat paint. This is typically the kind of OEM paint application you'll see on Honda motors, and most manufacturers put this type of wrinkle paint on the valve covers. It gives it kind of a textured surface, and I like the look of it. And this is high heat paint as well. It can withstand the heat of the engine bay. So I'm going to apply this. I apply this in very heavy coats. Sorry to be so dramatic, but that's the only way that I found out to get the finish just right, if you put on a very heavy coat. First coat of paint has been applied, and again I repeat, I put on a very heavy paint, heavier than I would usually put. That's just so I can get the texture to come out right. Sometimes the texture doesn't come out right if you apply it like you would any kind of regular spray paint, rattle can kind of paint. This is what the valve cover looks like after 3 coats. It's looking okay. I'm going to apply probably 2 more coats to get it a little more even looking. But as of right now, it looks pretty good. Bow! Look at that, look at that. Here's the final product of the valve cover. It's the OEM Wrinkle Black Finish. It came out pretty good. There's some minor defects in the paint, like right there, but nothing major. It looks pretty good. Let me take off this valve cap. As you can see, when I take that off, that came out very clean, taping that off, and that off as well. No paint on there. And overall, it came out a pretty good job, if I might say so myself. Alright folks, you saw the end product of the valve cover. If I might say so myself, it came out pretty well, and it was all pretty cheap. Altogether, the aircraft remover was about $10. The Wrinkle Black high heat paint was about $10, and the primer was about $10. And that's pretty much all used, and some water, $3 or something like that. So it's an easy way to get your valve cover looking fresh and new, and you really can't beat the end product. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video and the how-to. Any questions, hit me up down below. Comments, likes, please share. Please subscribe. I have tons of other car videos and how-tos I plan to post, and I hope this helps you out. And like I always say, pass it forward. I always get valued content from YouTube, and I'm just trying to pass along that same content to other folks and help them out. All right, peace.